Different day, different video. We got a 2008 Taurus. Customer complaint is steering effort. She said she could steer to the left, all right. It was a little high effort there. She could barely turn to the right. So kind of checking a few things here. Let's just start this up. You guys can hear it. We're trying to figure out if it's power steering pump or if there's something else going on. A line restriction. There is a module for the steering effort. Trying to see if that's okay. There's some pressure sensors and stuff like that that help with that or control that. So let's just start it up and I'll kind of show you what it's doing when it's sitting on the ground here. All right, so wheels are on the ground there. Steers pretty good to the left. I mean, there is higher effort than there should be, but to the right, I can barely turn this. I mean, she's the bear. It's like no power steering right there. Left seems to be better. All right, so what I want to do, I got it on the hoist here. Let's just lift the wheels off the ground and make sure that we don't have any kind of U-joint or steering shaft that's bad, anything like that. All right, let's try steering it again here and see what that does. It's free as can be, both sides. Now when I go to full lock, it appears like there's pressure there because I can hear noise from the pump. All right, let's check the reservoir, see if that tells us anything. Fluid is actually, I don't know if you can see that. It is very good condition. I did check it for leaks. There's no leaks. The reservoir is completely full. Let's hook up a scanner to it and see if we can find some data from the steering effort control module and see what that tells us. So we got our scanner hooked up here. Let's get into the steering effort control module. We're going to check it for codes first, make sure we don't have anything there. No codes. So let's just start this up and we'll check and see what's going on here. See, our current is increasing. I'll steer to the left. So when it goes to 0, it's trying to open that valve and give me full fluid flow from that pump. So I'm steering back and forth. Much easier to the left than the right. You can see our steering rate signal is working. If it wasn't, we would definitely have a code for that. Yeah, it is just, I wouldn't say easy to the left, but it's better than turning to the right. We're gonna do a little test here. A lot of times if you have a weak pump, you can push on the accelerator, just raise the RPM a little bit, and weak pump, you'll definitely notice a difference because it'll start flowing a little bit better. Just raise the RPM here. It doesn't steer any better. It is, yeah, she's tough. All right, let's go back to, I just want to check the PCM and see if they have a pressure switch we can look at here. Sometimes they'll have power steering pressure sensor. Let me just check codes here just to make sure there's nothing we're missing in here. That's kind of what I thought. Let's check live data. So I believe there's a PID down here for power steering pressure switch. Right here. Power steering pressure switch is low. And when I try steering, I let loose, it goes to low. Try steering, goes to high. I'm kind of thinking that power steering pump is okay. You know, is it possible we have a line restriction? It's always possible. Not likely, but I'm thinking we got a power steering rack that's bad. Power steering gear. There is a TSB on this vehicle for that concern. Now let me show you right here. Uneven steer assist during parking maneuvers. Built 4/30/08. Build date on this is actually, I believe, December of 07. So this would definitely fall within that date. And they're just saying that if uneven effort is felt, to replace power steering gear. So I think that's where we're at. I think what we're going to do is call the customer and sell them a power steering gear and see what happens. It's going to fix it though. So got the okay from the customer here. We're going to start pulling this steering gear out of this car. First thing I like to do, I'll put a bungee around the steering wheel. Wheel straight ahead. This just keeps it from spinning around, messing up any kind of sensors in that steering column. The pinch bolt for the steering column, steering shaft, is accessible from underneath the vehicle. Sometimes you do have to get them from inside. This one, I believe, you can get just right off the power steering rack. So let's get it up in the air, pull some wheels off, and start getting this replaced. just got the new steering gear. Just taking a look at it here, making sure it's the same one. It'll fit the same exact way. We do have a couple tie rod ends that we're going to put on later, because why not? Make it all nice, not using old shit. Let's get this installed, get it bolted in, call this one done. O-rings on these lines, make sure you replace them. This one is actually got 2 on there, so it's just a regular O-ring, first one, and then this one is like a square cut O-ring. You can see it's square. Make sure you replace these. Okay, so first goes on our square O-ring. Make sure it's not flipped around. Make sure it's the same on all sides. That is definitely flipped around. Still flipped around. I think we got it right there. So we push this back. Okay, and let's put regular O-ring on there. You can see right there. All right, we'll do the same with the other line and get those installed. All right, get this guy in there. The line is right here. Make sure you lube up those O-rings. Get our bolt. We're going to get this bolt in here. Before we can't. You guys have a better view of this one than I do. It's kind of a bad spot. Oh, I think we're onto something there. All right, let's tighten up our lines. Okay, let's tighten up this guy here. Make sure that your power steering rack is centered, which it is. Now we can put on our steering shaft. Oh, there it goes. Slip that on. Get our bolt in there. All right. Bolt is started. All right, that's topped off for now. I'm gonna bleed the system here. Then we'll start this thing and see what it does. Need a little bit more fluid in there. You can hear the pump is actually working. All right, so just added a little bit more fluid there. She kind of sucked her down pretty good. Got a little air in it, so that pump is going to make a little bit of noise until we get it bled out all the way. Let's let the hoist down. Get the weight on the wheels there. Let's see what happens. Nice. That's the way it should feel. All right, we'll take it back up in the air. Shut it off here. Let some of the air get out of the fluid there. And like I said, we'll raise it up. Wash it off. I did not clean off the cross member or anything like that yet. So we'll get it cleaned up. And yeah, this will be another one done. So you can see right there, it is the original power steering pump. I know somebody might say, it's a power steering pump. It's a power steering pump. No, it's not a power steering pump. It's the power steering rack assembly. We got to clean up a little bit here, obviously. Torque specs. For these bolts right here, I believe those are 86 foot-pounds. Tie rod end nuts. Those are 85 foot-pounds. Make sure you get them tight enough. Sway bar links. Those were, I believe, like 44. So that'll give you a little bit of information on torque specs. Everyone's asking for them, so I figured I'd throw that in there. So my hands are completely greasy, dirty. This camera has suffered enough. Yeah, we're gonna wrap this one up. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Please like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.